Shannon Sharpe.
The obvious is that Granddad is nasty. Who am I talking about? I'm speaking about Shannon Sharpe, 56 years old, 56-year-old adult man with 3 children, with at least 2 different baby mamas. He's never been married. Very upfront with you guys about my biases. And I'm going to be honest with you, I do not like
Shannon Sharpe, NFL tight end superstar, Hall of Famer, is now in deep, deep trouble. Yes, civil case against him right now with an OnlyFans girlfriend that he had a sex tape with, has now been accused of rape, sexual abuse, and sexual battery. In this episode, we'll get deep down to the nitty-gritty and find out what the likes of Stephen A Smith, one of his close and loyal friends, and from the opposite view, Candace, who absolutely despises him. So we have the two wavering opinions. And yeah, this is the big question mark of what on this whole thing altogether. Is what I don't understand, folks. Is Shannon Sharpe allegedly was about to give hush money to this person before the civil suit came in. It didn't happen, and now look, we're at a $50 million spree right here. Show me the money.
I am a role model, Jerry. I have a family to support.
Show me the money. Show me the money.
Money! Show me the money!
When you're talking about the Me Too movement is back, baby, whether he's innocent or guilty, this is going to dent his reputation. Let's have a look at what Stephen A Smith has to say about this episode, about his mate in the civil suit, and as well as what Shannon Sharpe said in his private video to the masses out there.
The Hall of Fame tight end was sued on Sunday. The 13-page civil complaint alleges that Sharpe committed assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. In response to the suit, Shannon and his legal team went to social media yesterday and released a series of allegedly sexually explicit text messages between him and the Jane Doe. Then earlier today, Jane Doe's attorney, Tony Busby, sent TMZ Sports a 1-minute and 36-second clip of an alleged conversation between his client and Shannon. In response to that clip, Shannon Sharpe went back to social media and issued this response.
And supporters and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly, on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
Now he sounds like 2.0 Barack Obama in this one, and he's pleading the fifth of the black politician, taking the blacks of Tony Busby going after the black people. Yeah, this is an interesting thing here. Shannon Sharpe, the PR control is clearly in place here. But the question marks is, at the end of the day, you're dealing with a 50-year-old man who was getting it on and in a relationship with a 20-year-old. I know it happens a lot in celebrity land, but what is the person in the 50-year-old thinking, popping the cherry of the 20-year-old? What's going to actually happen, folks? Absolutely. You're having sex with someone that is younger than your children. It's absolute disgusting. Absolutely should not be happening. It's just absolute sadness that we got to this situation. And it's an OnlyFans girl, and there's a sex tape that is out there. It's just madness that you'll do this for you with your family. But it shows that this man's all about himself. What a role model you are to us. But again, I'm not saying he's innocent or guilty. That's up. We will find out in the future. But yes, Stephen A Smith might be regretting, as he was the man that got him to ESPN. So the question marks over all that. So we will. Let's continue and have a look at more about what's happening with Stephen A Smith right now.
It's a sad situation. Shannon Sharpe is somebody I work with a couple of days a week. Shannon Sharpe is somebody that I brought to ESPN. Works on First Take, which airs on ESPN every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. He's been with me every Monday and Tuesday. We've been number one for 13 years and counting. But since Shannon has arrived, obviously he's helped the show immensely. So when Shannon Sharpe brought up Mr. Busby in that video that we aired and talked about him being extorted, he brought up Mr. Busby and Mr. Busby's past. And he talked about him, going against African-American men. There's two thoughts there. On one hand, there's the Jay-Z, who obviously should be presumed innocent, not just because you should be presumed innocent until found guilty, but because of the manner in which he fought on his own behalf and has been very aggressive in going after Tony Busby. In the case of P. Diddy, you don't know what to believe. Again, the case against Jay-Z was a civil suit. Diddy was a civil suit. But in Diddy, you don't know what to believe because of all the allegations he's facing. But we can't forget that Tony Busby was also the person that represented at least 24 of the 27 women that accused Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct along with other allegations. And at least 23 of those cases were settled. So we have an obligation to mention that. So on one hand, going on the offensive to defend himself, I completely understand where Shannon Sharpe is coming from. On the other hand, when his legal team issued out a press release on X yesterday, and they mentioned her name, and they revealed some of those explicit text messages, that was uncomfortable. I know, and I can tell you all that I spoke to Shannon, not in details, but I spoke to him, and he emphatically proclaims his innocence. According to Mr. Busby, his client emphatically proclaims his guilt. So where does that leave us? I'd love to tell you that I know the answer to that question, but
You don't have an answer, Stephen A. Smith. You're just sitting on the fence trying to look after yourself, buddy. But Iverson, a.k.a. Sharpe, has just plummeted his ass to the ground, and his credibility is out the window. As the opportunity and potential for a very, very naughty man, Stephen A. Smith, you let him in. You let him into the ESPN Disney world, and now look what's happened. Let's hope that he is proved wrong, but if he is not, it's not a good look for Stephen A. Smith. And my question mark is Disney and ESPN will have to make a stance if it's proven guilty and he's showing the door. Another slide plot to all this is Shannon Sharpe was about to be given a $100 million contract, so didn't he wish he signed that before this all came out? That was the talk that was happening. He was getting a $100 million contract, so is that going to be torn up, or when it comes back to negotiating, he's going to drop down? But yeah, it's going to be big credibility for Disney if this is not fake news. It could clearly just be fake news, but if it's not, this is not what Disney wants after Snow White flopping because of the woke society we have and the celebrity absolutely dissing the old Snow White. Absolutely, no wonder this company is struggling. As Netflix continues to be flying and Disney becomes more and more relevant, they need to get going and they need to look at the masses if they want to continue. Well, let's have a look at another side of this for Shannon Sharpe, and let's see what Candace has to say about all this going on. And it's juicy, baby.
But he has sort of perpetually been in court dealing with various paternity suits and civil suits as it relates to the instability of his personal life, his personal relationships. Now, before his personal life took a front seat in the press, Shannon Sharpe was primarily known for what he did. He was an NFL all-time leader of receptions in the tight end position, drafted into the Hall of Fame in 2011. And that's what's earned him his current platform. He has a contract with ESPN as a sportscaster, as many of these people who leave the NFL do. Always very upfront with you guys about my biases. And I'm going to be honest with you, I do not like Shannon Sharpe. I do not think he's a good person. It's personal for me. Okay, last year being the toughest year on my family in our entire life. And as soon as I got fired from the Daily Wire, there were certain people who I had done nothing to, who I had never spoken about, who were just like dancing on what they perceived was my grave and just spreading lies about me. And Shannon Sharpe was one of these people who basically came out on his podcast right away and just said the Black community should not welcome her back. Like tried to paint me as this anti-Black person because I'm conservative and I ironically don't support movements like the Me Too.
So clearly she has got a bee in her bonnet towards Sharpe. Maybe she has some sexual tension there. I'm just kidding. Don't get me wrong. I'm just absolutely joking here, folks. But she's obviously just does not despise this man. And let's just have a look at what else the Candace has to say about the situation. And she actually gives a bit of fight back to the actual plaintiff here.
Forced to release a statement after ESPN star's Instagram shares a live sex tape. So that was not fun for him. And it really is stemming from that issue, at least that's his allegation, which the current issue arises. He's now in a very serious predicament because a young woman has come forward and she's alleging that she was raped and she was threatened by Shannon Sharpe during what she is describing as a quote unquote rocky consensual relationship. That term, a rocky consensual relationship. So her attorneys filed the lawsuit on Sunday in Nevada, and she listed herself, or attorneys listed her as Jane Doe. The lawsuit accuses Shannon Sharpe of using physical force on her and inflicting emotional distress on her. And I'll tell you what her story is, okay? Her story is that she was at the gym in Los Angeles back in 2023, pumping some iron. And lo and behold, here comes Shannon Sharpe. They met. Now, to be clear, she says she was just 20 years old, which I hate. I hate that a 56-year-old man is hitting on a 20-year-old at the gym. Again, not illegal, but yes, probably very immoral. I think we can all agree. Like going after young women who are younger than your daughters, it's pretty gross. He would have been 54 at the time. And from there on, the two of them start a relationship, a 2-year sexual relationship followed. Now, she's alleging that the rape element didn't occur until October of last year. And then again, so she got raped in October of 2024, and then again, allegedly this year in January. So obviously, for those of you that are following our Harvey series, that's immediately for me where I pause. Because what jumps out is the persistent question that I have in these circumstances, which is what would incentivize any young woman to go back and continue relations with an alleged rapist? Just, again, common sense, not saying I have a degree in whatever degree you have supposed to have a degree in, but I am saying that sometimes it really just comes down to street smarts and common sense. Actually, most times it does.
So, Candace, right here, right now, I'm talking to you right here, right now. You say a 22-year-old girl that gets raped by a 50-year-old man should just easily walk away? Well, obviously you haven't been in the situation. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, the mental, the psychology side of this thing here, when people get sexually abused and that, they just don't know where to go, and you have this guy who's showing all his charisma to this lady or threatening to kill her, all this, potentially all the stuff that people that are rapists do, or pedophiles, all that sort of stuff. They do this rubbish. So to say that she could just easily walk away is total rubbish. There's a lot of things that happen around the world that continues with domestic violence, and they just can't get away. They need help from others around them to help them get ahead. A lot of controversy around this, a lot of attention, and the mental abuse is a big thing in the society, and I think that, Candace, you need to get yourself educated on that stuff. But getting back to this whole case here with Shannon Sharpe, all I can say, I hope you're innocent, buddy. Shouldn't say buddy, I don't know you, but because if it's not, then put the book to him, make it a criminal case, because it needs to. But if he's going to pay out the $50 million, say he's guilty, he will take over as Will Smith as the new black man that everyone despises, and Will Smith might get a reprieve. Because the worst thing that could happen is that the more allegations come out and he turns into the next Bill Cosby, and he doesn't want to do that because it's just absolute rubbish. But anyway, that's the video for the Shannon Sharpe civil lawsuit. Do I think it's a whole lot of hoopla? It potentially could be. But then again, it can happen when someone they are in love to start off with, and then one decides to back away, and another guy or lady continues the relationship, then bad things happen. Let's hope that's not the case, but if it is, we will find out. Anyway, if you like this channel here on Barry Charles News, remember to like and subscribe, and send it to all your friends. And I'll be back with another video soon.